Anzu begins the episode dreaming. She's running through the dark, crying and looking for her chocolates, video games, and Momohiki. Momohiki appears in front of her, she cuddles it, and it grows larger and more muscled. Momohiki expresses his sadness at Anzu's enjoyment of her time with the hot guy and runs away from her, declaring that she no longer needs Momohiki. She is startled to see Tsukasa's face above hers when she awakens due to her alarm. She is sleeping on Tsukasa's lap. She is so startled that she bangs her head on Tsukasa's chin, causing Tsukasa to bite his tongue. Tsukasa explains to Anzu what had happened the night before. Anzu regrets what she did and apologizes to him. Tsukasa's body aches as a result of sleeping in a seated position. He notices that the weather has improved and bids Anzu farewell. He also expresses gratitude to her for allowing him to spend the night. As Anzu walks to the kitchen, she realizes she hasn't given Tsukasa his lunchbox. She decides to give it to him at school, bracing herself for the scolding she'll receive if the girls see her handing him lunch. While Anzu is getting ready for school, she is gradually falling for what happened last night. She's not sure how she fell asleep. She remembers talking to Riri before falling asleep. She becomes irritated with Riri once more. Tsukasa appears at her door, asking for assistance with his room. Tsukasa's room is soaked with water when they arrive at his apartment. It's as if the storm occurred inside his room. He decides not to go to school because all of his belongings are wet. He uses Anzu's phone to contact the school. Anzu is certain that it is Riri's fault. When the water pipe near the door bursts, she is about to leave Tsukasa. She follows Tsukasa outside and asks if he requires assistance. Tsukasa requests her phone number so he can contact her if he has any concerns. Anzu hands Tsukasa his lunch before leaving. Tsukasa criticizes Anzu's wrapping and placement of the lunch. She claims that his followers will go after her if she packed it neatly. He expresses his gratitude and bids farewell. Riri appears with a victory snicker as Anzu turns her back and walks away. Tsukasa goes to the real estate agents to get a new room, and to the laundry shop to clean his wet clothes while Anzu is at school. He assists an elderly man in getting his laundry. Meanwhile, Anzu's best friend Saki notices her homemade lunch and it bothers Anzu. Anzu is debating whether or not to tell Saki. However, she does not want Saki to be involved in the mess. Suddenly, she receives a call from an unknown number. Tsukasa is telling her about her overly sweet scrambled eggs, which were supposed to be rolled eggs, and he tells her that they should meet after class at Touter Cafe. After class, two girls approach Tsukasa's homeroom teacher to ask about his well-being. After hearing about what happened, they discover that Tsukasa Kazuki called the school. This leads the girls to believe that he already has a new phone. When they ask the teacher for his phone number, he declines, and they force him to turn on the speaker when he calls Tsukasa. They hear a female voice. Anzu exits the room just as she answers the phone. Outside the room are the two girls and the teacher, who discover that they are speaking to Anzu. Tsukasa Kazuki is at the cafe, looking for an apartment to rent with his new phone, but the rent is too high. He regrets not wearing a hat because the two girls at the next table notice how attractive he is. He covers his face and turns away, but the waitress cleaning a table thinks he's handsome as well. He's uncomfortable sitting there. He blames Anzu for the delay. Tsukasa is irritated when Anzu appears with the two girls from school. They immediately surround him. Tsukasa asks why she brought them with her as the two girls order their food. Anzu explains, saying that when they discovered he used her phone to call the school, they became enraged. She tells that the school teacher told her to tell Tsukasa to call him, and the girls asked to join her, to which she agreed. Tsukasa drags her outside while holding her arm, and tells the girls that he only has plans with Anzu. Anzu asks if the girls will feel bad because they are friends with Tsukasa, and mentions that Kashiwagi has a crush on Tsukasa as they walk to the park. Tsukasa explains that he is just going through the motions because they're classmates, but he's not interested. For the time being, he is not interested in dating. Anzu apologizes for bringing them, and Tsukasa apologizes for blaming Anzu. Anzu is different for him. He can relax around her because she has never tried to approach him as others have. Anzu awkwardly recalls that she is simply a pawn in Riri's plans. She tells Tsukasa that she is not interested in dating either and states that they are in the same boat. She believes Riri's plan will fail because they are both unwilling to date. Anzu recalls that Tsukasa wishes to discuss something with her, so she asks about it. Tsukasa wishes to leave his possessions at Anzu's house while the real estate agent searches for a new room. Anzu is tempted to let him spend the night at her house, but she realizes that's exactly what Riri wants. She tells him that she can pay for his broken phone because she will get a job soon. Their conversation is cut short by a phone call from a real estate agent. Anzu recalls Tsukasa's words. She is delighted to know that they are both at ease with each other. After his phone call, Tsukasa informs Anzu that there are no rooms available until next month. Anzu is irritated because she knows it's Riri's fault. Tsukasa proposes that instead of her paying for his phone, he can stay at Anzu's house for a month. Anzu becomes alarmed when she realizes that Riri's plans go exactly as he desires. Tsukasa assures her that he will assist with the chores and prepare food for Anzu. Anzu is tempted by a good deal, but she has second thoughts. Because because her house will be full of traps with romantic scenes. Anzu immediately agrees due to the guilt she has when Tsukasa mentions that he understands if she declines. Tsukasa is pleased and tells her to tell her parents. Anzu tells herself that her parents will not object because they are Riri's puppets. The next morning, Anzu realizes she's just dreaming, and that it's embarrassing for her to think she's living with a hot guy. When she opens the kitchen door, she finds Tsukasa preparing their lunch boxes. She notices that Tsukasa is an early riser, and Tsukasa downplays her as a slouch. Anzu begins to feel sorry for Tsukasa because he was exhausted last night after a long day. He cleaned his room, gathered his clothes for laundry, and worked until late at night, but he still got up early to prepare food for them. Tsukasa asks her if she wants breakfast, and Anzu says yes. He says he will prepare breakfast for her. When Anzu finishes speaking with her mother, Tsukasa hands her the breakfast he prepared and heads off to get his gym clothes. He brings their lunch with him. Anzu is having a peaceful breakfast. She reflects on how fortunate she is to have delicious food, a good-looking guy with her, and Riri not showing up. Riri appears out of nowhere, leading Anzu to believe that she has cursed her peace. Riri asks Anzu how she is enjoying her dating sim experience. Anzu, on the other hand, becomes enraged and mocks him, claiming that Tsukasa is not interested in dating. Riri tells her that her life will be like a dating game, with plenty of attractive men appearing in her life. Just in time, a handsome man knocks on her door. He turns out to be a childhood friend she has forgotten about. Tsukasa opens the door as the new handsome guy invites Anzu to go to school with him. Both of them are taken aback. The episode ends with Anzu telepathically calling her mother and father to ask how they are. She is forced to live with a handsome guy, and another handsome guy appears out of nowhere, claiming to be her childhood friend. Anzu's forgotten childhood friend introduces himself to Kazuki as Junta Hayami. Anzu introduces Kazuki and informs him that he is currently staying with her. Junta is taken aback, and Anzu explains why. Kazuki departs for school, while Anzu returns home to collect her bag. As soon as Anzu enters her room, she begins to beat up Riri for what he is doing. She asks who he is, and mentions that she never had a handsome childhood friend. Riri informs her that there is a handsome childhood friend who has had a crush on her since elementary school in every single dating sim life. Anzu is opposed to it. Riri tells her that all she has to do is accept him. She claims that things are becoming increasingly difficult. She is concerned that Junta is waiting too long, but Riri has cast a spell on him to keep him entertained while he waits. She walks to school with Junta. On the way to school, Junta expresses his belief that Anzu should not place too much trust in Tsukasa because they have only recently met. Anzu is defending Tsukasa and thinking to herself that Junta should not be trusted. The winds suddenly blow hard, causing Anzu to get a Hercules beetle in her hair. Junta assists her in removing it. Junta claims it will be worth 10,000 yen. Anzu tries to catch it with Junta when it flies away, so Riri employs his magic to cause Anzu to fall to Junta. He catches her and is relieved that Anzu is unharmed. Junta's kindness tempts Anzu. Because of the beetle, Anzu's hair becomes tangled. Junta assists her in tying her hair and reminisces about Anzu's elementary school days, which Riri has imprinted on Junta's memory. Saki arrives while Junta is attempting to fix Anzu's hair. Saki offers to help Anzu fix it, and she recalls Junta. Anzu suspects that Riri has control over Saki as well. Saki ties her hair back and teases Junta in front of Anzu. Saki understands how to help a man to get Anzu's attention. Anzu is hesitant to spend the day with a new childhood friend, but Junta gets along well with Saki. He is easy to get along with and shares memories with her. It's a flawless manipulation for her. Tsukasa is at the train station with his friend Makoto Oda when Kashiwagi appears and demands an explanation from Tsukasa about what happened the day before. Makoto is taken aback when he learns that Tsukasa is friends with a girl. Tsukasa politely declines Kashiwagi. They talk about Tsukasa bringing his lunch to school, and then they run into Junta in the school corridors. Makoto explains who Junta is. Tsukasa is impressed with Junta. Junta and his friends, on the other hand, talk about him knowing Tsukasa and how Tsukasa is a smart and handsome boy. When two girls appear behind them, they address them as assistants and ask them about Tsukasa and how they would feel if they lived with such a handsome man as Tsukasa. Junta is concerned that Anzu will fall in love with Tsukasa. Junta's friend makes fun of him because he was seen with Anzu early in the morning. He's hitting his head against the wall because he can't say that Anzu is beautiful, not cute. Saki informs Anzu that she will not be able to join her for lunch because she will be the announcer at that time. Tsukasa appears at the second door of their room, looking for Anzu, while Saki is already in the doorway. Saki is intrigued, but she has a duty to fulfill. Tsukasa and Anzu exchange lunch boxes in a secluded area of the school, where no one can see them so that the girls will not harass Anzu. Makoto discovers them in this situation. Tsukasa explains everything, saying that Anzu assisted him and that what he sees is a secret. Makoto approaches Anzu and realizes that she is the girl Kashiwagi was referring to. Tsukasa and Anzu are invited to sit in the round stadium bleachers. They are eating and discuss how good the food Tsukasa prepared is and how Anzu is a terrible cook. Makoto prefers to live with them over his mother and sister and complains about them. Anzu informs him that she is an only child and that she is envious. Tsukasa has an older sister, according to Makoto. Anzu believes that having a sister must be enjoyable. Anzu notices that Makoto has brought chocolate. He offers her some, but when she tries to take it, Riri blocks her, forcing Anzu to decline. Kashiwagi notices Anzu eating with Makoto and Tsukasa. When it's time for Anzu to go home, Kashiwagi stops her and asks to speak with her. Junta is leaving his room with his friends at the same time. They tease Junta about going home with Anzu, and how this is Junta's opportunity because their practice has been cancelled. Junta goes to Anzu's classroom to find her. Saki informs him that Anzu has already left, and that she is unable to assist him due to club obligations. Anzu's classmates are envious because she is surrounded by attractive boys. Junta runs into Tsukasa as he walks down the hall. He inquires Tsukasa whether he has seen Anzu, because she is not answering her phone. Tsukasa says no, but he notices Anzu and Kashiwagi's friend walking together. Tsukasa and Junta are hiding behind the wall, listening in on Anzu and Kashiwagi's conversation. When Kashiwagi asks Anzu if she likes Tsukasa, she says no, but they keep insisting on it. When Anzu says that she doesn't want to date, they force her to set up a date for Kashiwagi and Tsukasa. Tsukasa once told Anzu that he isn't interested in dating, so she declines, stating that she will not force a friend to do something he does not want to do. Junta is astounded by Anzu's behavior. Suddenly, a girl with yellow hair appears out of nowhere. Anzu is unsure who that girl is and what her role will be in Riri's plan. The girl pretends to be awestruck by Kashiwaga's beauty while casually insulting the two girls. As a result, the two girls walk away. When the girl speaks to Anzu again, Anzu realizes that the girl is Riri. Anzu is taken aback because she had no idea that Riri was a girl. Anzu is still surprised that the girl's name is Riri and that she is a girl. Tsukasa and Junta emerge from their hiding place. Anzu inquires if they have been present since the beginning. Tsukasa explains, but Anzu realizes that they heard everything, including the chess cup sizes, and she becomes enraged with Riri. Tsukasa expresses his appreciation to Anzu for siding with him. Anzu is perplexed as to what Tsukasa is grateful for. Riri makes fun of her for remembering only bra sizes. Junta and Tsukasa inquire about Riri, who introduces herself as Anzu's cousin, and invites the two men to dinner at Anzu's house. Anzu is helpless and powerless to intervene. Anzu tries to turn off Junta by wearing something offensive, but Riri stops her. Anzu wonders when and how Riri acquired her human form. Riri says that she's doing it for Anzu's sake. Because Anzu is still resisting Junta, she will fall in love with two handsome guys tonight. Riri forces Anzu to dress sexy and girly, despite Anzu's protests. Riri abruptly lets go of Anzu, causing Anzu to lose balance, and then she opens the door to Anzu's room, causing Anzu to collide with Tsukasa. They end up in a bad situation. Anzu apologizes to Tsukasa, but he warns her that Tsukasa is likely to be hurt whenever she is around. Anzu is aware that it is Riri's fault. Junta arrives with his mother's fried chicken, while Tsukasa prepares curry. Junta is envious of Tsukasa because he is smart, handsome, and knows how to cook. Junta desires another bowl of curry. Tsukasa says he can have more because he cooked more. Anzu hears it and wants another bowl as well. Riri informs her that she is on a diet, but she denies it by claiming that she only avoids chocolate. When Riri tells her that chocolate is delicious, Anzu becomes enraged because she believes it is Riri's fault. Junta recalls a memory that Anzu does not recall, but she still goes for another bowl. Riri persuades Tsukasa to stay in Anzu's house for more than a month, but he declines. As a result, Riri invites Junta to live in Anzu's home. Riri suggests eating ice cream for the two losers of the game rock, paper, scissors to buy it. However, Anzu notices Riri using the wand to let her loose with one of the guys, so she gathers the wand. Anzu volunteers to buy ice cream with Riri while keeping the wand away from her. Anzu and Riri fight over the wand. It falls into dirt. When the wand becomes dirty, it cannot be used again until it is completely cleansed. Anzu is very pleased. Tsukasa and Junta are cleaning and washing the dishes at Anzu's house. Tsukasa tells Junta not to worry about him, because he isn't interested in dating, and Anzu only treats him as a friend. Junta breaks one of Anzu's plates in shock, because Tsukasa knows he has a crush on Anzu. Tsukasa tells him not to worry about Anzu finding out, because Anzu is a bit dense. Junta informs him that it is not up to the two of them. Anzu reappears when Junta begins to discuss his feelings for Anzu with Tsukasa. Riri appears behind her, sobbing and wiping her wand. Junta apologizes for the broken plate. Junta bids his farewells and thanks for the dinner after they finish the ice cream. Anzu agrees to have dinner with him again. As Anzu enters, she apologizes for the inconvenience, but Tsukasa tells her that it's fine, and that it's been too long since he's had dinner like that. Anzu wonders why Tsukasa is living alone. Anzu notices Riri stealing Momohiki-related items from her. When she tries to detain the fleeing Riri, she runs into Tsukasa. Because Junta has morning practice, Tsukasa and Anzu walk to school together. Junta and his friends notice Anzu and Tsukasa on their way to school. They tease Junta about Anzu and Tsukasa dating, but he explains that they are just neighbors. Before going to her room, Anzu greets Junta. Saki and her friends question Anzu about her friendship with Tsukasa. They are envious of Anzu and want to have sleepovers with her, which worries Anzu. Anzu returns home exhausted. She is missing her video games, chocolates, and Momohiki. Junta returns home and is told by his mother that he must bring cooked stewed potatoes to Anzu late at night. Anzu is awakened by a sound and believes it is Riri stealing Momohiki's belongings. She climbs the bed, armed with a golf club, to confront Riri, but instead encounters an underwear thief. Junta arrives with the stewed potatoes and assists Anzu in apprehending the thief as he flees through the window. The thief is captured by Junta and the police take care of him. Anzu expresses her gratitude to Junta for assisting her. They had no idea it was Riri's fault. Anzu recalls her bed hair and begins to panic, but Junta calms her down by saying she looks fine. Junta is about to make a romantic move on Anzu when Tsukasa appears out of nowhere and interrupts them. Tsukasa is fully informed by Anzu. Junta answers his mother's phone calls, while Anzu informs Tsukasa that he must sleep on the couch because the thief broke the bedroom glass door, to which Tsukasa agrees as long as no one holds him. He recalls Anzu holding his hands the entire night. Anzu recalls it and apologizes once more. Junta's mother wishes to speak with Anzu to inform her that she has ordered Junta to stay at Anzu's house because she thinks living alone is dangerous for a girl like her. And Junta's mother will explain everything to Anzu's mother. Anzu realizes that it is Riri's fault and recalls a scene from the dating sim game. Anzu is strongly opposed to the three of them living together, but she is powerless to stop it. Junta arrives with his belongings at Anzu's house. Anzu shows him to his new room. Tsukasa and Junta will not share a room, so Tsukasa will sleep in Anzu's father's study. The study room is decorated with cat designs in pink, which Anzu's father adores. Junta says goodbye because he has baseball practice. He is unable to look Anzu in the eyes. Riri appears out of nowhere to congratulate herself on her successful plan, but Anzu kicks her away. Anzu is perplexed as to why her mother agrees to everything, and even happier that her underwear is almost snatched. Anzu, on the other hand, is overjoyed because she has been hired at the convenience store. They will not be spending much time together. When the morning arrives, Anzu is assisting Tsukasa in preparing their lunches. Tsukasa obliges her, and Junta is captivated by Anzu's cooking. Junta's lunch is a shambles at lunchtime. His friends say it's disgusting in comparison to his other lunches. They suspect Anzu cooked it, but Junta denies it, so they continue to tease him. Tsukasa's manager approaches him about staying on their floor because the customers will appreciate it, but he declines. A girl stops Tsukasa on his way home and invites him to coffee at the new coffee shop nearby, but Tsukasa shrugs her hands away and declines. Tsukasa arrives home and Anzu grabs his arm and tells him to hurry up and take a bath because they are going to watch a movie. Tsukasa lets her hold his arm. Another morning arrives, and Junta goes to practice while Tsukasa invites Anzu to accompany him to shop for summer clothes because Makoto is busy, and she will assist him in shooing away other girls. Anzu tries to convince him to shop online, but Tsukasa refuses. Anzu goes to change her clothes, but only ends up changing her pants. Tsukasa tells her to change her shirt, but she continues to wear cat-printed t-shirts. Tsukasa is forced to choose Anzu's shirt. Anzu attempts to prevent him from entering her room because he will see her freshly washed underwear drying. Tsukasa, on the other hand, is unconcerned about her elementary-style panties. Tsukasa is puzzled as to why Anzu has so many indoor clothes, and inquires as to what she intends to do with her savings. Anzu informs him that she intends to spend the money on video games. Tsukasa tells her that he doesn't care what she wears inside the house, but that she should have decent clothes for going out. Riri appears to come to the rescue. Riri threatens Anzu with throwing away her cat-printed clothes if she doesn't let her dress her up. Finally, Anzu dresses up in makeup and cute clothes. Tsukasa is taken aback by her beauty. Anzu is nervous and self-conscious about what will happen. While out walking, Anzu realizes that she is on a date with Tsukasa. Anzu aims to make her facial expression ugly at the mall, so Tsukasa will dislike her. Tsukasa always wears caps, which Anzu notices. He tells her that he simply does not want to be noticed. Tsukasa tells Anzu that wearing a mask will only make matters worse, because they will follow him around like a celebrity. Tsukasa notices Anzu staring at him, so Anzu sprints away awkwardly. Tsukasa stops Anzu from buying cat merch clothes, and instead chooses normal clothes for her. Anzu can't believe she bought clothes that weren't cat-themed. Tsukasa invites her to get some food before heading home, but Anzu needs to use the restroom first. Tsukasa is relieved that Anzu likes the clothes. Tsukasa remains glued to the wall while waiting for Anzu because he is constantly attracting attention, which he dislikes. He should have waited somewhere more private. Two girls are approaching him, and he suddenly recalls a creepy woman calling his name. Tsukasa begins to sweat and finds it difficult to breathe. He keeps telling them not to come near him and to leave. When Anzu returns, he is almost unconscious. The two young ladies are taken aback. Anzu grabs Tsukasa's arm and walks to the shop she discovered. Shop for cat merchandise. Tsukasa is delighted to be with her. Anzu discovers a cute cat bracelet, but lacks the funds to purchase it. Tsukasa offers to pay for it as a thank you for accompanying him. On their way home, Anzu expresses her gratitude for the bracelet, and Tsukasa notices that they have spent the entire day together. Junta appears behind them and notices Anzu's clothing. Anzu informs him that they had gone shopping for summer clothes and that her outfit was designed by Riri. Junta is envious that he was not invited. They plan their evening activities on their way home. While watching the series film, Anzu notices a roach and seeks Tsukasa's assistance in killing it. Tsukasa asks Junta to assist him, but when he discovers that Junta is also afraid of the roach, he gets rid of it all by himself. Anzu thanks Tsukasa for assisting her, while Junta is embarrassed that he did not help. Anzu reminds him of the underwear thief he seized. She continues to console him. Tsukasa tells himself that he is the one who obtained the aid. Anzu is content and believes that everything is going well. Riri is also overjoyed because Anzu is letting her guard down. The next morning, Anzu is still sleeping soundly, but she is startled by Tsukasa slamming the door open. Anzu sleeps in and allows Tsukasa to go to school first. Anzu is late for school when she realizes she said something that the leading lady from the dating sim said. She's in the same situation in the dating game, except she's not eating toast, so she assumes she wouldn't run into a handsome man. She is nervous as she approaches the corner. A black car appears out of nowhere and nearly hits her. When a man assists her and she sees his appearance, she is relieved because he is not attractive. Anzu is taken aback when a handsome man munching on toast steps out of the car. Anzu is the one who should be eating toast. Episode 7. The accident is resolved by the police, and the handsome man with the butler offers her a ride to school. Anzu is perplexed as to why a wealthy and attractive man would attend a public school. She apologizes for the delay caused by the accident. Suddenly, the man remarks that she must be overjoyed to be going to school with him. Anzu stops herself from punching him. The students are all watching them walk together when they arrive at school. Anzu is extremely self-conscious. The man tells her not to worry while she waits for their call. Anzu's friends immediately start questioning her about the guy, Hijiri Kagane. Anzu is surprised to learn that he has a fan club that refers to him as the prince. Anzu realizes it is Riri's fault from the moment she wakes up late. Saki is concerned about Anzu, as are Makoto, Tsukasa, and Junta. Makoto is astonished by Anzu's friendship with Junta. They leave, telling Anzu to call them if she is in any pain. Anzu's friends are envious. Anzu is waiting for Kagane a few days later because he called and asked her to see him today. Anzu is irritated when he arrives with an arrogant remark. He mocks her fashion sense and decides to give Anzu a makeover. Because Anzu is tall, he orders her to wear shoes with lower heels. Then he pulls her through her arm to get something to eat. Anzu is baffled about what is going on in the car. She asks him to tell her, and he says they're going on a date to eat French food. Anzu begins to panic. Kagane assumed that Anzu purposefully jumped in front of the car to threaten him with a date with her. It happened to him numerous times. Anzu keeps telling him that the accident was not planned, and that she does not want to date him. She also tells him that she will pay for the clothes, but she is surprised when she learns how much they cost. Kagane tells her that she is fortunate to be dining with him, intended or not. Anzu is irritated and orders the butler, Tsuchiya, to stop the car. She exits and throws the jewelry and heels to Kagane. She also tells him that she isn't interested in him and walks away, which surprises Kagane greatly. While Anzu is walking, she is ranting in her head about how annoyed she is that a rich brat squandered her time. She is also irritated by his narcissistic and condescending demeanor. What irritates her the most is that he accused her of inventing an accident for the sake of love. But she is a fighter who is up against love. Kagane, on the other hand, is taken aback by Anzu's lack of interest in him. Her classmates are aware that he is depressed. Anzu appears out of nowhere with a paper bag. Kagane expects her to beg forgiveness for her actions, but all she does is drop the bag on the table and storm away. Kagane is irritated that she returns his gifts and acts in this manner. He asks Tsuchiya to look into Anzu because he wants to learn more about her. Anzu and Junta are on their way home. Junta is delighted to accompany Anzu on her walk. Because Tsukasa is at work, Anzu decides to cook dinner and Junta gladly agrees. Junta is compared to Kagane by Anzu. She wishes for Junta to find someone he truly loves, but in order to do so, she must first get rid of Riri. Riri reappears in the form of a girl, rekindling Anzu's rage. She confronts Riri, but Riri tells her that when Riri is in girl form, everyone can hear what she says and see what she does. Suddenly, Kagane appears and tells Anzu that he will make her fall in love with him no matter what, because she is the first lady to be uninterested in him. This makes Riri extremely happy. Kagane insults Anzu's small house and informs Riri and Junta that he only intends to meet with Anzu and not the two of them. Anzu asks him what he wants, and he responds by addressing Tsuchiya. Tsuchiya brings chocolates, a sketch, a virtual reality headset, and cats that really worked on Anzu. Anzu questions how he knows what she wants, but Kagane shows his narcissistic side once more. He can't get past the fact that Anzu dislikes him. Riri stops Anzu from declining the gifts and pulls her aside for a private conversation. She threatens Anzu with the gifts unless she promises to fall in love with Kagane. Junta questions Kagane about the accident and whether he likes Anzu, but Kagane tells him that he doesn't and displays his narcissistic side once more, which irritates Junta. Junta tells him that Anzu will not want to be friends with him plainly because he is attractive and wealthy. Riri is slapped by Anzu, who tells her that she doesn't understand humans or their emotions. Anzu refuses everything Kagane has given her. She apologizes for injuring his pride and advises him not to spend his parents' money on gifts for others. She also tells him that he can only brag about his wealth if he earned it, and that they can only talk if he brings Momohiki home. Everything hit Kagane's conscience and feelings. Junta notices Anzu's distress. Anzu believes that if she accepts Riri's offer regarding Kagane, Junta will be free of Riri's control. She apologizes to Junta for dragging him into the mess, but Junta only says that he is always willing to assist her if she requires it. Junta is wonderful to Anzu. Junta recalls how Anzu chose him over other children when he was a child. While Anzu is arguing with Riri, Junta is looking romantically at her. Anzu is surprised at work because Kagane is now her co-worker. Anzu is irritated by the way he works. However, he became an online sensation known as the Convenience Prince, which was featured in the news. People line up to see him at the convenience store. They are unconcerned about his arrogant demeanor. Anzu concludes that he is this way because the people around him treat him as if he were a true prince. But he is a good learner and a hard worker. Anzu's shift is finished. Outside, she sees Tsuchiya and compliments him on his work. Tsuchiya stops Anzu from leaving. He expresses his gratitude for helping to improve Kagane. Kagane's common sense is deteriorating as he obtains everything he desires. His father wishes for him to learn the common ways of people, but due to his beauty, he is unable to do so. But because Anzu is direct with him, he develops an interest in the ordinary. Anzu is pleased that she was able to make someone's life better. Anzu is overjoyed to receive her first paycheck, and immediately begins planning what she will do with it. Kagane appears unexpectedly and asks her what she wants because he has also received his paycheck. Anzu chooses ice pop over more expensive items. She and Kagane share an ice pop. She becomes tempted by Kagane's beauty. Because Tsukasa is cleaning the comfort rooms, Anzu returns home with a silent house. Tsukasa's phone beeps with a message from a girl, and Anzu notices it. She's romantically imagining Tsukasa with a girl.